All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It has been quite a while since the last one. Last video you guys saw was just about 300 miles on the motor and car and was waiting about 500 miles to fully break in the new engine and the new clutch and all that. Got to 500 miles, changed the oil, went up to Helen, Georgia to do Blood Mountain. And while I was up there, immediately started smoking. From the back?
Under, comes from under.
Yeah. From the valve cover area. Wasn't sure exactly where. Lo and behold, come back and there is a burn mark going straight through in the valve cover. So ran into that problem, got the car home, and kind of sat for a couple weeks until I could really get to work on it. Pulled the valve cover and ended up buying this metal one, painted it wrinkle-ish black because I didn't do that good of a job, and made this little heat shield last night and just got it back together, mixed these lines up a little bit, angled the turbo, and yeah, I got that all sorted. Sucks that happened right at 500 miles. A lot of other people haven't had really that problem with the valve covers melting on at least S55s, but it's hard to see, but it's really not even the exhaust housing, but right here I'm touching is the closest part to the valve cover, which is still like the manifold. So I do have a heat blanket that I have on it usually, but it still managed to burn through. So got that all sorted out. Unfortunately, didn't really film much, just wanted to get it done. What I do have to film today is a new set of rear control arms. This is gonna be both upper control arms for the rear and the two lower toe arms, we'll call them. So this car has 133,000 miles. A lot of people like to do SPL, but honestly, it's just, SPL was probably 2 times more expensive than Mega Racing. You know, they are nice. I do like the clamping style of SPL because it's like a little Allen key and then you just use it to clamp versus this, which is like a whole nut that you spin and tighten down. For the price, you really can't beat this. I think all 4 of these, or really 8 because there's 2 in each one, was $800. So essentially the entire rear end is spherical bushings, all the rubber is replaced, and you know, $800 versus 2,000 or something like that. So let's get this unboxed and see what it takes to put on. Hopefully you don't have to drop the subframe or anything. I think with M2s you might. So let's hope this isn't too bad. I also ended up getting this new box. Got rid of my older wood top Craftsman's table. It's really good, a lot of space. It was 8 feet across, but it really just lacked actual storage for things. So I always had like not a nice area to put in all the little stuff. Ended up having that like Harbor Freight portable cart. This popped up for I think $800 or $700 on Marketplace, and it's just big enough. You know, I wish this area was a little bigger, but it's kind of probably what I'm supposed to work with. I'm just used to the 8-foot wood top, but super nice. Got huge drawers, bunch of shit everywhere, and Jesus, look at that. And maybe if I can do something slim on this wall, kind of like up here, because I still need this room to work on the car. And yeah, was luckily this car fits just in here with enough space to kind of work. But when I did the engine, I didn't have the car like this because I can't pull the engine this way. But yeah, a lot nicer to work with now that it's not angled and half the garage is useless. So let's open this up here. So here they are. If you guys haven't seen the last video, I actually have their adjustable lower control arms on the front here. Hard to kind of see. They are made actually out of steel compared to SPL arms that are aluminum. So, I mean, maybe you gain a little bit of weight, but with a big F80 and most people, that's not gonna be a problem. So these are gonna be the 2 uppers on each side and 2 toe arm and I guess 1 like traction arm or something, if you wanna call it that. And they all look good. No real issues. Pins, locking nuts, and good to go. Okay, so these are the 2 uppers, followed by this front, I think it's called a tension arm, not sure, which is one of the longer ones. And then this all seems to be, I think it's E14s on in here, one for the other side of the long one, and then up top 218. So I don't think I have to lower the subframe. I think all is gonna be pretty easy and quick. So I guess we'll see how long it takes. That is craziest. No way. How do they? No way. It's like the craziest engineers, but they can't figure out how to not use a bolt that's 10 mil too freaking big. Okay, ended up getting that one out. It was a little more finagling, but came out without getting the sway bar out. So now we'll do this left one here. Should be a little easier. I think I did the hardest one right now, so that makes me feel a little better. Again. So it did break loose, but just to make it a little easier because it did not move when I tried to do the wrench. All right, we'll let that one sit. So this is where I think people with M2s have an issue. From the video I saw, I guess the battery's here in like 1 series, 2 series, and this bolt can't get out. So luckily we are not an M2, so I would be pissed. And we just got to hammer that bolt out. Yeah, this bolt is never moved in its life. Yeah, I'm all out of bolt. There we go. What is that? So what I'm doing is I'm extending the Megan one by spinning it, lining it up with this. All right, so the top is even, and then, you know, just trying to get at least close to this angle so it's not too ridiculous of an alignment to, you know, maybe drive or at least get it down on the floor. So I'll do that for each one. What I did right now is I pried it kind of lowered into here and then managed to kind of push it in. And this might bend a little bit and you might need to bend it back, but not a huge problem. There you go. Then that has a 18 nut on the back side. Yeah, I can reach it from here. Okay, so for this last arm, you have to remove this brace that goes to the center. It connects there under the exhaust and then also connects here in this corner. With my quick jacks, the bolt was in the way, so I had to lower the quick jacks and put it on jack stands and all that. So you might want to loosen it ahead of time. It's a T60 bolt. It's right here in the corner, a couple clips. You don't actually need to take these out. You just have to loosen the T60. And then over here is a 24 mil, and then from there this arm will drop. And you also have 116 that's on the other side of this holding that frame up. So after that, that is the last arm. So let me get this one off and then we'll see how it looks. All right guys, so it's the next day, got all the arms in. I still have to put on this brace, but for now, until I get it aligned, can get all this sorted and do that after. So all the arms, what I did is I kind of measured from each side just to get a ballpark idea to be close enough. What really comes into play are these two, because if these are off, really the whole wheel will be towards, you know, this side or towards the back. So I messed with that back and forth a couple of times, and once I got one side fully close to, you know, let's say OEM, or spacing is even on, you know, this side and that side, kind of, I guess, rear caster, I don't know if that's a thing, but once I did that, then mimicked it on the other side. So I've been putting wrenches on all of them and nothing's really actually scraped up yet, so the paint is pretty good. Did have to do this nut back here with a little security pin. I would say what tools you really need, like the thin adjustable wrench I had here, because this spacing is a little bit weird. The other side is a little harder because you have the gas nozzle that comes right here on the passenger side, so you really have to finagle this bolt into this corner here. So when you're doing it, push it in this corner to get it out, and even to get it in the same way. You kind of have to push it down under the sway bar and then hit it from the other side also. So I think tomorrow I'm going to take it to the alignment shop and then we'll see how it goes there. I really want to get the suspension dialed. It's on KWV4s that I got for like a super good deal because he thought they were V3s. They're selling them as V3s, not knowing they're V4s, which are $3,000 more. They're great, but they're too soft for this car. So they're comfortable. You can really dial them in and do a lot, but they're just too soft for this car. So I do want to take care of that. I just need something a little more firmer. I really think Olin Road and Tracks is the perfect balance for this car. So hopefully someday down the road we'll switch them out. So if anybody wants actually V4s, let me know. I'll sell them for like low 3,000s. They're technically $6,000 brand new. So other than that, the car's been super good. Like pulls hard, no hiccups. Base map is fucking ridiculous. And it's really just trying to get the suspension dialed in. The arms weren't too bad to do, but really alignment-wise, they were a little bit of a headache. But man, it still sounds amazing. It sounds pretty good. I know there was a lot of controversy about Speedtech's cast manifold and this manifold, that manifold sounds better, but I don't know, this sounds pretty good to me. It's just, you know, like 3.5-inch single mid pipe and OEM muffler. So, and you can also make it super quiet with the OEM muffler still. So that's really what I wanted, and it sounds honestly to me perfect. I would say the kind of the hardest thing to get used to really is this clutch. It's pretty ridiculous. I've had pretty stiff clutches in the past, and this clutch is like, I don't know, it's not that engagement point is, you know what it is? It's not the engagement point is too small. It's that F80 throttle response is like one little tiny input is a billion RPMs. I know it's been a problem with other people with F80s where the throttle's like way too sensitive. Like I don't even go into Sport Plus throttle wise. I do Sport Plus steering, but it's too sensitive on the gas side to work with such a ridiculous clutch. So that's been a little tricky. I went to Road Atlanta and had to go up and down all the hills there, and that was quite the experience. Do a little pull here. Alright guys, sorry to skip around. The GoPro had died. So overall, arms I think are definitely worth it. You know, your alignment guy has to have some good knowledge. Is this front facing one? That one affects the complete position of the wheel, you know, forward and back. And that really affects a lot, because if that's off, then everything else really doesn't matter, because the car's going to want to be a little sideways. So I think the suspension needs to be dialed in a little bit better. But overall, making arms, no problems. I would say make sure to snug them down well and maybe mark them with like an ink pen to make sure, you know, if they move, at least you catch an eye on it. So other than that, no problems. Install normal, alignment normal, and car feels good. Now everything's kind of been ran through besides the front control arm bushing. I have it ordered, but I think it's back ordered from Turner. And diff brace, so that's the next project to go to. I don't know if I'm going to do it myself or take it somewhere. I really don't feel like dropping the subframe and diff, but we'll see how things go. So consider liking or subscribing. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of this car or any of the other cars, and thanks for watching.